welcome to my channel. My name is Ulo, and are you ready to set the vibes for this week? Let's go. Today we're going to talk about how to effectively plan. So I did a video which was talking about 3 ways planning would change your life, and I'm gonna link it at the end of this video. But obviously I know a couple of you that watched it said, okay, we get it, we need to plan, because planning is gonna help us get clarity of our goals and just get in the driver's seat of our lives and take charge. But then, Ulo, how do we effectively plan? Because a couple of people I know do set a plan but fail to meet the end of that plan. So this is what I would like us to talk about today. I'm going to be sharing with you ways to effectively plan. So let's head out and have a conversation. The first way to effectively plan is to clarify the goal. I mean, what are we planning for if we do not understand the dream, the goal, the agenda? So ideally, what we have to do first is get to a place of understanding what's the plan, where are we headed. We cannot get to planning without understanding the goal. Clearly, having this conversation while we drive was a huge fail. So I decided, let me look for a quick spot and park so we can finish our conversation. Moving right along, the second way we can effectively plan is by being realistic. One thing that burnt me out in my early phases of goal setting and planning was the excitement of thinking I should do a million things. And guess what? I literally did none of those things. Reason being is that I was overwhelmed and it looked like too much of a task to achieve. And this is why it's important for us to narrow down our tasks. So one of the best ways to actually narrow down is by looking at what is short term versus long term. And this is not to neglect the long term, but we look at what is it that we need to achieve in the now time. What are our yearly goals, and what is it that needs for us to jump onto immediately without any procrastinations or negotiations? Also, another way of being realistic is that we ought to balance between work and our day-to-day life activities, because you do not want to neglect things like your fun, spending time with family, and other things that generally make you happy. They inspire you to get up and tackle the next task. From avoiding to do a million things because we will burn out is that we need to set a work-life balanced to-do list. So you want to ensure that all areas of your life are taken care of. And here's what a to-do list like that looks like. Personally, this is something that I use on a day-to-day basis. First things first is that I pray in the morning because I need to nourish my spiritual life. Secondly, I need to do chores to take care of my home because I need to function from a clean space. Thirdly is I ensure that I tackle down my workflow. I look at the opportunities I need to pursue because the money needs to come in. We are not just going to pray and not chase the opportunities. So we need to ensure that every aspect of our lives are taken care of, and that is being realistic about things. And lastly, after the money is taken care of, I ensure that I reward myself to some of my favorite YouTube videos, vlogs, my favorite books, and that way I live a holistic life. I find myself in a place where I'm fulfilled and I feel motivated, inspired, and I look forward to the next day. The third way in which we can effectively plan is by setting a time-bound to-do list. Listen, we are not doing one thing the whole day. We're not cleaning the house the whole day. We ain't cooking the whole day. We are not working the whole day. I used to be that person. If I start cleaning that day, It's almost like it's deep clean all day, every day, all week, all month, all year. But then other areas of my life would end up suffering because there wasn't a deadline of when I needed to meet other tasks. And we know the saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. We know it's a cliche, but that's the reality of life. Here's how my planning looks like on a day-to-day basis with regards to being time bound. I start my day at 5 a.m. in the morning. 5 a.m. gang, whoop whoop. 5 a.m. I have my devotion, say my prayers, meditate, and just clear my head for the day. And then 6 hours to 8 hours, I clean my house because it takes me about 2 hours to take care of the house. While I clean my house, I help my husband get ready for work because he needs to leave at about 7 a.m. When he leaves and it's 8 a.m., I have the rest of my day to myself. So I sit and clarify what my workflow looks like. So I essentially look at what brand deals do we have on the table, or which brands do I want to pursue, or what's the next thing we're going to tackle on the goal list, and then move forward to meal preps. And I take a little bit of time to binge on my YouTube. And by the time I realize my day is done, Harvey is back, we have dinner, we catch up, and I have a little bit of time to read my book before going to bed. So see, because you've allocated time, you are able to do as much as you can in a day. And the last thing is auditing. Listen, the day's plan is not complete without an audit. We need to audit how our day went. We need to have some time at the end of the day to look through what we did, what we didn't do, the reasons we didn't do what we didn't do on the to-do list. That way it gives us room to be able to plan better. This gives us clarity of whether we are taking on a little too much or we are not being disciplined with time. And it gives us room for improvement in areas of our lives that we are lagging. Do let me know 3 ways that help you plan effectively. Well, from me, your girl Ulo, the delightful host, thank you so much for watching. Have a productive week filled with effective planning.